Libra, the last-minute invitation that hides a big surprise. Your phone will vibrate. Either someone will approach you, or you'll get a message, and it will be at the last minute, like tonight, or tomorrow morning, or this weekend. And you, being a Libra, will hate it. You'll feel that immediate resistance, because you don't like surprises. You don't like being caught unprepared. You don't like having to rearrange plans that were already perfectly balanced. And you'll want to say no. You'll have 1,000 reasons ready. But something will stop you. Something will whisper, go. Just this once. Go. What if you go? What if you ignore resistance and accept a last-minute invitation that seems inconvenient and poorly planned? Your life changes in ways you never imagined. Why this invitation? It's not what it seems. It's a portal disguised as inconvenience. It's an opportunity wrapped in urgency. It's a gift from the universe testing if you can be flexible when it matters. But let me tell you who's behind this invitation. And why now? This isn't a random person. It's someone strategic. Someone who's been observing you, who's noticed something about you, and who's creating opportunities to put you in a specific situation, with specific people, at a specific time, because something needs to happen. A connection needs to be made, a conversation needs to take place, and you're an essential piece of it. You just don't know it yet. And the person who invites you, it could be a friend, it could be a colleague, it could be a distant acquaintance, but it doesn't matter who. What matters is why. And why is this? You need to be there. You need to be in that place at that moment with those people, because something will align, something you've been searching for months without knowing it. Something you asked the universe for without words. And the answer? It arrives in the form of a last-minute invitation that all your logic tells you to refuse. And let me be more specific about how this invitation will arrive. It could be a message at 7 in the evening for dinner at 8. It could be a call on Thursday for an event on Friday. It could be someone cancelled. Do you want the spot? It could be as casual as I was passing by, want to come along, and the casualness will make you underestimate it. It will make you think it's not important, that you can refuse without consequences. But the energy behind it, energy isn't casual, it's cosmic. It's an alignment happening in real time. And you will feel the pull. You will feel an inexplicable attraction, even with logical resistance, as if part of you already knew, already felt that something was waiting. And when you feel the pull while your mind says no, always follow the pull. Because pull is the soul speaking, and the soul sees further than the mind can calculate. And what awaits you if you go? First possibility, you meet someone, not just anyone, someone who changes your trajectory. It could be professionally, someone who opens a door, who offers an opportunity, who sees potential and has the means to do something with it. And you weren't looking, you weren't networking, you were just present, open, and the connection happens organically. Conversation flows, chemistry is established, and you leave with a contact that's worth its weight in gold, with a possibility that didn't exist an hour ago. Or romantically, you weren't expecting to meet anyone, you weren't ready, you weren't in the mood for romance. But the person is there, and something happens, a look that lasts a second longer, a conversation that deepens too quickly, a laugh that reveals compatibility, and you feel it. You feel that rare thing, that click, and suddenly a last-minute invitation that you almost refused becomes the moment you'll always remember. If I hadn't gone, second possibility, you reconnect with someone you haven't seen in a while, someone who left your life for reasons that now seem silly. And being in the same place at the same time creates openness, not forced, natural, and you talk, you really talk, and you realize that distance wasn't about incompatibility, it was about the wrong timing. And now is the right time, and the relationship that died, it is reborn, transformed, better. Third possibility, you discover something about yourself, because the invitation puts you in a situation you normally avoid, a context that takes you out of your comfort zone, and you have to improvise, you have to adapt, you have to be a version of yourself that you don't often use, and you discover that you're good at it, that you have abilities you didn't know you had. that a side of you that you repressed is actually a strength, and that changes your self-image. It changes what you believe is possible. And now, regarding the specific last-minute question, why wasn't the invitation planned in advance? Because the last minute doesn't give you time to create elaborate excuses. It doesn't give you time to build perfect rational defenses. It doesn't give you time to consult all your friends and make a list of pros and cons. The last minute forces you to decide by instinct, by feeling, by impulse. And Libra, you need this training. You need to learn that instinctive decision-making is sometimes wiser than prolonged analysis. And because the last hour creates a specific energy of spontaneity, of unpredictability, of let's see what happens, and in that magical energy, things happen. Connections form faster, social masks fall more easily, people are more authentic, because nobody had time to prepare a performance. Everyone is just being themselves, and in that genuine being you find what you were looking for without finding it in planned and controlled environments. And about your resilience. Let's talk honestly about that. You don't like last-minute things because you like control. You like knowing what to expect. You like having the right clothes, the right energy, the right preparation. And last-minute things take that away. They put you in a vulnerable position. And vulnerability is scary. But vulnerability is also where growth happens, where it happens, where life happens. And there's another layer. You use "I'm not prepared" as a shield, as a way of not taking risks. Because if you're always prepared, always in control, you minimize the chance of failure, but you also minimize the chance of surprise, of delight, of discovery. And life lived like that. It's a calculated life, safe, but small. So when that last-minute invitation arrives, when you feel that familiar resistance rising, ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Being unprepared, or being out of control? And which is worse? Staying home in total control, living a predictable life, or going and risking temporary discomfort in exchange for the possibility of something extraordinary? And in the first 5 minutes after receiving the invitation, here's exactly what happens inside you. First minute, shock. You process the information. Last minute, today, now, seriously, and your mind starts listing everything you had planned to do. Even if the plan was literally nothing, you transform nothing into something important that cannot be interrupted. Second minute, searching for excuses. You mentally go through all the valid reasons to say no. I'm tired. I don't have anything to wear. I have to wake up early. I don't know anyone there. And each excuse seems perfectly legitimate, because it is, technically. But legitimacy is not the same as truth. Third minute, internal consultation. You close your eyes for a second, you feel your body, and your body tells you something. Either it's tension, fear of going, or it's tingling, excitement disguised as anxiety. And you notice which one it is. You just notice without judging yet. Fourth minute, quick visualization. You imagine going, you imagine staying, and you compare sensations. Going gives you a feeling of movement, of possibility, of life. Staying gives you a feeling of security, of control, of stagnation, and you choose which you prefer at this specific moment. Fifth minute, decision. And decisions either come quickly or they don't come at all. If you're still deliberating after 5 minutes, the answer is no. Not because you shouldn't go, but because resistance has already won. It has already created momentum. It has already convinced you. So you need to decide in the first 5 minutes, quickly, instinctively, before your mind hijacks the process. And let me give you signs that this particular invitation is the one you should accept. First, it comes from someone who doesn't normally invite you, or invites you to different things. This invitation has a strange energy. There's a feeling that it's really important for the person not to say why. And you feel that. You feel there's something more. And the feeling is intuition. And Libra's intuition, when you really listen, is never wrong. Second, the invitation takes you out of your routine. It puts you in an environment you don't frequent, with people you don't know. And that should make you refuse. But in reality, it's a sign that you should accept, because you don't find anything new in the old. You don't find change in repetition. You don't find surprise in the familiar. Third, you feel fear. but fear mixed with curiosity. Not pure fear that paralyzes you, but fear that excites you, that makes you think, what if? And when fear comes with curiosity, it always will, because it's a sign that there's something on the other side worth discovering. And when you accept, when you say, yes, here's what you do, don't create specific expectations, don't go with an agenda, don't try to force things. You open up, curious, available, you observe, you listen, you allow, and you allow yourself not to force conversations. You don't perform, you don't try to impress, you simply are, present, authentic, receptive, and you pay attention to synchronicities, because they will be there. A casual conversation that mentions exactly what you were thinking, a person who shows up wearing a t-shirt of a band you love, a moment when you think of something and someone says it out loud. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. They are the universe saying you are in the right place, and you don't leave early. You don't go away at the first sign of discomfort, because surprises don't come at the beginning, they come in the middle, or at the end, when you've already relaxed, when you're already in control, when you've already accepted being there. That's when it happens. An important conversation, a meaningful introduction, a moment that changes everything. And there are specific Libra behaviors that can sabotage the experience. Let me warn you about them now. First, you'll want to be everyone to everyone. You'll go around trying to please each person, and that dilutes your presence. That prevents a deep connection. So you choose one or two people to really talk to really get to know, and let the rest flow naturally without forcing it. Second, you'll monitor how you're being perceived. You'll be so preoccupied with the impression you're making that you'll miss the moment. You'll be so focused on yourself that you'll lose the present. So you stop, you breathe, you return to your body, you forget about yourself and focus on others. Paradoxically, it's when you stop trying to impress that you impress the most. Third, you'll want to leave when you feel uncomfortable. You'll use the first excuse to go home. I have to wake up early. I'm not feeling well. And you'll miss out. You'll miss out because surprise was 15 minutes away. It was waiting for you to relax, so you stay. You stay at least an hour longer than you planned. You give the magic a chance to happen. And what about the big surprise hidden within the invitation? It could be a professional opportunity you didn't even know existed. Someone at a casual event mentions a project. You comment on something relevant. They recognize your expertise, and suddenly you're being considered for something you never applied for because you never knew it existed. And 3 conversations later, you have a contract, a job, a career change, all because you accepted that last-minute invitation that you almost refused. It can be information that changes your perspective. Someone shares this experience, tells a story, reveals something, and it clicks. Something you were struggling to understand suddenly makes sense. A problem you were trying to solve suddenly has an obvious solution, and you weren't looking for it. You were just there when the information arrived. It could be healing from an old relationship. The person you hurt or who hurt you is there, by chance or not by chance, and you see each other, and there's a moment to choose to avoid or confront, and you confront, and a conversation that should have happened years ago finally happens. And the weight you were carrying without realizing it, it lifts, and you breathe differently, more freely, lighter. It can be a rediscovery of yourself. The environment challenges you. It puts you in situations where you have to be different from who you normally are, more daring, or quieter, or more vulnerable, and you discover that you like this version, that this repressed version was actually your truest self, and you return home different, not dramatically, but subtly, and subtlety accumulates and becomes transformation. Or it could be love, it could be someone, and you know the moment you know. You don't need confirmation, you don't need signs, you just know. And all resistance to the invitation, all "I don't want to go," all deliberation disappears, because you understand. You understand that if you had refused, you would have missed this. You would have missed the person the universe placed in your path in the most improbable way possible. And gratitude for having gone surpasses any last-minute discomfort. And when the surprise arrives, you'll recognize it. It won't be announced. There won't be fanfare, but you'll feel a shift in energy, a shift in possibility, a shift in the future, as if the timeline had changed there, as if the version of you tomorrow is different from the version of you yesterday. And the difference is this conversation, this connection, this moment, which only happened because you said yes. And if you feel anxious before you go, if your stomach tightens and your mind screams, "Don't go," here's what you do. First, you name it. I'm feeling anxious. Anxious about going to an unfamiliar place with unfamiliar people without preparation. Naming it takes away its power, because unnamed anxiety becomes a monster. Named anxiety becomes just a sensation, uncomfortable but manageable. Second, you question, is this anxiety a warning of real danger or is it just fear of discomfort? And you differentiate. Real danger tells you not to go to an objectively unsafe place. Fear of discomfort tells you not to go to a place that challenges your comfort zone. And most of the time, it's the second. It's fear of discomfort disguised as intuition. Third, you commit to 30 minutes. You go. You stay for at least 30 minutes. And then you evaluate. If after 30 minutes you really want to leave, you go. Without guilt. But most of the time, after 30 minutes you've relaxed. You're talking, you're present, and the idea of leaving seems silly. And then, after the event, after the night, after returning home, you will process, you will revisit conversations, you will wonder if something really happened or if you are creating meaning where there is none. And Libra, you do that. You question positive experiences. You look for reasons to diminish, to rationalize, to say it wasn't that special, but this time you resist the impulse. You allow the experience to be special. You allow meaning to exist. You allow surprise to be a surprise, and you act on what arises. If it was a professional contact, you send a follow-up. If it was a personal connection, you don't wait. You express interest. You continue the conversation. Because the moment created an opening, but you have to keep it open. You have to nurture it. You have to honor the synchronicity by taking action. And in the following days, you'll notice the change. Small, but real. You'll be more open to the unexpected, more willing to say yes at the last minute, more confident in your instincts, because you've experienced firsthand that sometimes not planning is the best plan. Sometimes not being prepared is perfect preparation. Sometimes surprise is exactly what you needed. What if you refuse? What if you let resistance win and say no? Life goes on. Obviously, it's not the end of the world, but you'll have a feeling that you've lost something. You won't know what, but you'll feel it. You'll have that what if that haunts you, that unresolved curiosity. And a week later, when the person who left mentions something that happened, you'll feel the pang, a pang of regret, of having chosen control over possibility. And you might have another chance. You might, but you might not, because some doors open only once. Some configurations of people and moments happen only once. And not because the universe is cruel, but because movement is constant. People move on, circumstances change, and a window that was open closes. Not dramatically, it just closes. And you're left with a clear lesson that hesitation costs more than discomfort. But I believe you will accept. I believe you are here, because you are listening to this, because something inside you knows you need it, knows you are being prepared, knows that when the invitation arrives, even if it seems inconvenient, even if it interferes with plans, even if it creates discomfort, you will take a deep breath and say yes. And what about Libra's characteristics in this specific situation? You'll want to please. You'll also accept invitations so as not to disappoint people. And that's okay. The motivation doesn't have to be pure. It can have multiple layers. You might go to avoid disappointing others, and because your intuition tells you to. Both truths coexist, and the result is the same. You'll go. You'll arrive and read the atmosphere. You'll assess the energy. You'll see who's there and how they're interacting. And you'll adapt. You'll find a role. You'll harmonize. And that's a gift, not a weakness, because you balance the environment with presence. You bring peace with existence, and people feel that, and they gravitate towards it. And the openness that this creates, that's where the surprise comes in. You'll be charming without even trying. You'll make people feel seen, heard, valued, and that will create instant loyalty. People will want to help you, connect with you, include you because you made them feel good. And the reward for making others feel good? It's opening doors, it's opportunities arising, it's life conspiring in your favor. And one final truth about last-minute invitations: they test you. They test if you can let go of control, if you trust the flow, if you believe the universe has better coordination than your planning. And when you pass the test, when you accept the invitation and allow surprise, the universe takes note and sends more synchronicities, more opportunities in disguise, more gifts wrapped in inconvenience. But if you always refuse, if you always choose to plan over spontaneity, the universe also takes note, and it stops trying, not out of anger, but out of respect. Respect for your choice to live within known limits, and life becomes smaller, safer, but smaller. So when the phone vibrates, when a message arrives, when someone approaches you with "I know it's last minute but," you stop to create a mental list of reasons not to go. Stop checking your schedule. Stop checking if you have the right clothes. You stop, breathe, and ask yourself, what does my instinct say? And if instinct says go, even if reason says no, you trust it, you accept it, you go. And you go with openness, with curiosity, with a willingness to be surprised. And surprise will be there, waiting, in the form of a person, or an opportunity, or a reconnection, or a discovery. But it will be there, because a last-minute invitation is never just a last-minute invitation. It's a summons, it's a call, it's the universe saying something important awaits you. Will you come? Libra, you will go. You always go when it truly matters. You just need to remember that sometimes what seems inconvenient is actually essential. What seems poorly planned is actually perfectly orchestrated. And what seems like a hidden surprise, it's actually destiny revealed. So get ready, not by planning, but by allowing. Allowing the week to bring the unexpected, allowing the invitation to arrive, allowing the yes to leave your lips before it's too late, and allowing life to surprise you in the most beautiful way possible, giving you exactly what you needed at the moment you least expected it.